We're joined now by head coach Mike Neu from California in his ninth season. He is joined by a junior utility player, Jacob French. Coach Neu, if you want to start us off with an opening statement about your team in the fall leading up to 2026.
Yeah, we returned some guys that we feel really good about. Kind of headlined by this guy right here, Jacob French had an unbelievable season for us last year. Feel like we got a good core coming back with Cade Campbell and Carl Schmidt, and feel really good about where we're at on the mound as well. Getting some guys healthy and bringing in a new core of guys. With Oliver De La Torre. Gavin Eddy, Cole Clark, and Ethan Foley. So those guys have been had some success and pitched in some big games for us. And we're going into our year two in the ACC. Without sounding cliche, I feel like our standards and the way we've gone about things, since that year moving forward has been outstanding. And our guys have had a really good fall and time leading up into the spring. So we're excited to play some games, and we feel like we have a really good group of guys. We feel like the guys we have here now and the way we're going about things is going to be our niche at Cal to be successful. And we put a really big focus on what we think is important, and we've hammered home those things, and our guys are really bought into those things, and we're excited to play some games. So those are the returners. We have a lot of freshmen as well, and some newcomers. But I think we're excited about those guys kind of leading the way and putting together a great example for the rest of the guys and going out there and competing.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up for questions. Our first one from College Baseball Weekly.
Yeah, Coach, how you doing? Second year in the ACC. I know you just touched on that. What is your overall impressions of the league, and what are you excited about going forward?
It's a really good league. There's a lot of great players. There's a lot of great coaches. There's teams that are going to be battling to go to Omaha every year. There's a lot of high level draft guys, and that's where we want to be. If you want to be the best, you're going to have to play against the best and compete against the best and beat the best. So our level of preparation has to match that. And yeah, I mean, if you want to, be at the highest level of your profession or your opportunity, then this is where you want to be, and it's pretty clear cut. So I think we, are really excited for that opportunity. We get to see some places of the country we haven't seen before, but I mean, it's undeniable how good it is, and we're excited for that opportunity every time we get a chance to go play somebody.
Any memorable road trips from last year or series?
I mean, everything was new for us. I mean, obviously, I think the easiest one is getting a chance to play in the ACC tournament. What we felt like we got better as the season went on. We got more experience as the season went on, and we got a chance to make some noise and have a couple good wins in that tournament. So that was a good finish. But I mean, to be honest, it's a new year. We're going to play some new teams, all new trips for us. The way the schedule shakes out. So yeah, I mean, I think the guys that are here and returning gain some experience from that, but it's going to be a new year, and I think that's really good for us.
Thank you, Coach. And real quick for Jacob, you were third team All ACC last year. What are some of your goals for this year? You and your ball club.
Well, I think for our club in general is just to try to be the best team we're going to be, and go to Omaha is always the goal. We want to go win a College World Series, and we feel like we have the talent to do that. And we're a really tight group of guys, and we just want to we just want to win games. To be honest, we want to win ACC championship. We want to win the ACC tournament. We want to win every game we can, and ultimately the goal, obviously, win a national championship for Cal.
All right, Jacob, Coach, I appreciate your time. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question will come from Mark Garland.
Coach, good to see you again. I know we talked a lot this offseason, and looking over at the schedule, you guys have 15 games that are only out of California this year. First one's not till March 20th. Do you think that gives you a little bit of advantage to let some of these new guys on the team, and especially some of these freshmen like Cade Columbaro and Otto Espinoza, get their chances to get their feet wet in their own state and kind of get used to playing ball before they have to go travel on the road?
Yeah, I think that's part of the goal is, we're going to travel a little bit more. So when we're not traveling, we want the opportunity to stay a little bit closer. And there's some great teams to play in California. I mean, we're going to be competing against some really good schools. So I think that's the opportunity early in the year. I think there's some guys coming back we know are going to lead this team, and then there's some guys that are going to get some opportunities. We're going to play 4 games the first 4 days of the season, so there's going to be some guys that get a chance to be in their first college baseball game or battling for some opportunity. And, I think that's a team we have. We don't for sure know exactly where everyone fits in yet, but we know we have some real talent. So it'll be exciting to see those guys go compete and get some opportunities early. And then as we get into the season, things will fall into place a little bit more. But we're definitely in position where some guys will be able to, play some good teams, stay a little closer to home, and get some opportunities to go perform, which is really exciting.
Thanks, Coach.
Our next question will come from Jake Curtis. Go ahead, Jake.
Mike, you got a lot of freshmen on the roster this year. Is that indicative of how you're going to try to build the program through the high school recruiting versus transfers, or not so?
Yes, I think so for the most part. I think obviously if there's opportunity in the transfer portal, I mean, Jacob French came from the transfer portal. He's an unbelievable player, and if that's a great fit, we're gonna find hopefully find a guy like him. If there's more opportunity in high school, which I think there will be. I mean, we're definitely not going to be just destroying the NIL world. That's not who we are. We're going to try to do our best to find the best fits for our program who value the university and the culture and the standards that we're going to hold guys accountable to. If they do that, we think they're going to love it here and they're going to get better. And we've developed some great players over the years. They've developed in our program. I don't think, we put them in position to do that. But if they're the right type of guys, they are going to do that. But I think that's going to be, probably a better opportunity for us to win a national title is to get some of those talented guys, and they're going to have to grow up a little quicker. But for us to do it, that's going to be our niche. So I think in general, yes, but we're going to go down every avenue to find the best possible guys we can that are a great fit in our program.
And one other thing, you talked about the pillars that you're trying to hammer home to your players. Can you tell me what those pillars are?
Yeah, our core values are toughness, discipline, and accountability. So everything we do, those are going to be a part of what we do. We set standards according to those. We have team leaders that, are going to hold the rest of the team accountable to those standards. So on and off the field, that's the expectations, without getting into too much detail. But, we had a great fall, and we feel like we've really held each other accountable, coaches and players to, really do things at a level that's going to be different than everyone else. And it's not easy, but life's pretty challenging, and this game can be really challenging. So, we feel like we put our guys in the best position to be successful. And we definitely feel like we've gotten a lot better, and we're prepared, and we're ready to play some games. But it's kind of a never-ending thing with the way we're going about it, and we're really excited about it.
Our next question will come from Jim McGill at Bear Insider.
Mike, you got a lot of talented young guys on this team you've had a chance to see in the fall. What's the philosophy with how you work those guys in, both into the rotation and the bullpen, and also position guys? You get them spot duty here and there and see how they respond. How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think anytime early in the year there's going to be a little bit more opportunity. I mean, our pitchers are going to be built up to some level, but we are going to need some guys to pitch some big innings for us early on. Playing 4 games in 4 days. Our starters aren't going to be built up to go ultra deep into the game, so we're going to need some guys to step up. So the opportunities are organically going to be there early in the year for the first, 2 to 3 weeks until we get to conference. And then, same thing on the position player side. I mean, I think some guys will get some opportunities. I mean, the hard part about college baseball is those opportunities can come in smaller doses. It's you may get a game or a start or 2 starts in a row, and hopefully guys are prepared to take advantage of those. But there will be those opportunities the first, 15 or so games of the year. And then it really will be, up to those guys to put themselves in position to gain more of a role. And there are some of those there, but fortunately we have some guys that are back to where we feel like we're in a pretty good position for some of the older guys to really kind of start off and we'll see what happens with some of the other guys, but we do know we have some talent there and there's some opportunity.
Jacob, being a returning player, who are some of the young arms that you're pretty impressed with that are kind of a tough guy to get some wood on out there that you've seen so far?
Well, I feel like we brought in a lot of young guys, young pitchers, young position players, but if I had to name a few, I'd say Cade Columbara has really impressed in the fall, flashing velo, flashing good feel for the zone. Otto Espinoza, I know he's been up to like 95. He's been throwing the ball well. Trent Roach, there's a lot of guys. Jet Wright, there's a lot of guys throwing the ball really well in the freshman class that I'm really impressed that they're attacking the zone, especially against some really good bats that we have in our lineup. So,
who's impressed you in the field with their glove?
I feel like Jet Kennedy. He's really stepped up, taking on a shortstop role right now as a freshman. Being in the ACC and competing with the guys. I don't know personally if I would have been that way as a freshman, but he's really stepped up as a freshman. Has been really impressive.
And who are some of the new bats that you like?
We have one of my old teammates from SF State. We have Daniel Murillo. He's been really impressive, especially recently, hitting a bunch of home runs. My roommate now, Hideki Prather, coming from Clemson. He's a really good bat to have. And like Josh Hansen, too, hits the ball really hard. It's going to be a good piece for us that we definitely need.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
Our next question come from Steve Croner.
Yeah, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Steve.
Hey, kind of focus on the guy who's on the other screen. At this time last year, if I told you Jacob French is going to wind up hitting 390 for you guys, coming, no disrespect to SF State, but coming from a lower program or lower division program, I should say. If I said Jacob French is going to hit 390, you would have said?
I would have been really excited for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's definitely, I mean, I don't want to say a surprise because it's hard to like think back to that time because now that I know him and know what he's capable of doing. But yeah, I mean, not knowing that before fully, it would have been, definitely a pleasant surprise because, that's not easy to do what he did, but he's, such a great competitor and such a good feel for the game and such a hard worker. When you do those things, the results happen, and I think he understands that and he continues to, not be complacent with his success and put in the work necessary every day to be great. And, so it's not surprising, but it's not easy to do. And he's willing to put in the sacrifice and the work to do that.
Jacob, was there a point during the season or maybe even in fall ball where if you had doubts that you could compete at that level, those doubts were erased? Was there one moment or was it just kind of a gradual process?
I mean, I feel like the thing about baseball, and especially in the ACC, tough conference like this, is there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But you got to trust your work. You got to trust yourself that you are ready for this level and that you're a good baseball player and that these guys across from you, they're not miles ahead of you or they're not miles below you. Like these are all really good baseball players and you kind of just got to trust yourself and that you belong in this group and that you can compete in this group.
All right, Mike, then who's the guy we don't know now is going to hit 390 this year?
I mean, I think, his old teammate, Daniel Murillo from SF State has had a really good fall and he was a little bit dinged up for part of the year, but, Frenchie mentioned him and, I'm not saying he's going to hit 390. I mean, I think that's, the batting average piece can not always be the full indicator, but I think he's going to put together some really competitive at bats and he's a very even keel. He's got a great baseball player mentality when it comes to not being too high, not being too low, which Frenchie talked about too, and just putting in the work and trusting the work. And, typically if you do that, you put yourself in great position to have success. And I think he's him, and there's a few other guys that have done that. I mean, Carl Schmidt has swung the bat really well as well, but he's a little bit less of a surprise. He had a great finish to the season last year and played really well in the summer. So, I think we're excited for those guys for sure.
Mike, if I could ask one kind of semi-personal question, everybody on here in the past few uh, teams calls has referenced Mark Marquis and what a great man he was and what it meant to Bay Area baseball. I like to think for 2 decades, the Yankees had the M&M of Maris and Mantle, and the Giants had McCovey and Mays. The Bay Area had Milano and Marquis. And Bob, we lost Bob in September. And you know both of those men, I think, fairly well. If you could talk about both Bob Milano and Mark Marquis and what they meant to you and what they meant to Bay Area baseball.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, closer with Coach Milano just because he did spend a lot of time here, and I got to see, firsthand the impact that he had on so many guys' lives, and he continued to come around and be here for some events and practices and coming to lunch, and it just. I mean, even our event that we had a few days ago, and you were there, Steve. I mean, you got to just hear the stories and how much of an impact and how he was really able to balance the coaching and being a mentor as good as anybody, in the country and the impact he had on people's lives is undeniable. And I got to see that firsthand, with just his personality and the way he did things and the way he treated people and talked to people. And that was really impressive to see, and then continue to hear the stories and continue to honor his time and legacy here. And Coach Marquis, yeah, I mean, I got a chance to coach against him, and I mean, really, like the thing I was thinking about with him, which I mean, I was telling our coaches last year, he's at Santa Clara, and he's one of the most legendary coaches of all time. And the guys in the batting cages picking up balls and moving screens and taking notes, and I'm just like, man, that just like there's no secret, of why he was successful. I mean, he was so humble and such a hard worker and just willing to sacrifice anything that he could do to be great and just hold himself to that standard. And it was like, to me, it was like kind of like him in a nutshell. I mean, the guy's moving screens and picking up balls and taking notes, and he doesn't have to do any of those things, but he wants to see that program be successful, and he's there. And if he's going to be there, he's going to do his absolute best without putting himself on a pedestal at all to do whatever is necessary for them to be successful in his role. And, I just thought that was pretty cool to see that. And it was kind of what I thought about when I was thinking about his legacy. And it had nothing to do with wins or losses or, anything. It was just like showed his character, which I thought was really cool.
Very cool. Thank you, sir.
I see two more hands, so we'll finish with Ben Parker and then Terry Bernal. Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, hey coach, I just want to get you guys have an alum that got inducted in the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame, and Jeff Kent. Just curious the impact that he's had on Cal baseball and how cool it is to see him get that Hall of Fame induction. Coming up.
Yeah, I mean, to play at Cal and to be in the Hall of Fame, and Jeff, he doesn't live close here anymore, but I've still had conversations with him, and I know his time here was really great, and I know he's really appreciative of what he was able to do here, and for our guys to kind of see that that you can be in this program and have that type of career, and what he's done is unbelievable. So we're really proud that he went here, and I think he's really excited because that is I mean, you're talking about the lifetime honor of anything you can do in this game. You're the best of the best, and it's just an unbelievable award and honor, and we're really excited for him.
Our next question from Terry Bernal. Go ahead, Terry.
Hi, Coach Neu. Terry Burnell from the San Mateo Daily Journal. I Jacob had mentioned Josh Hansen, and I was curious to ask you then about what was day one of Josh arriving on the field at Evans Diamond as a transfer, and just where does he fit in the overall scheme of things for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, Josh kind of has a second chance, here. He was at USC and didn't get a lot of opportunity there. What Josh has and Frenchie, talked about it is he's unbelievably talented. He can catch balls in the outfield like he's like sleepwalking doing that. It's easy for him. He's athletic, he's got power, he can run and the opportunity isn't right in front of him, so just like we've had a couple, I mean, he's got the ability and the opportunity, is going to be here. It's just a matter of, him being able to take advantage of it, so we had, Carl Schmidt was at A&M and didn't get an opportunity, and I think he's got a chance to be as a top level hitter in this conference. So, you have to be able to put in the work. You have to be able to respect how difficult this game is. And if you want to be the best, you have to do things different than everyone else. And sometimes, that it's harder for talented guys to understand that, and as he grows and matures in this game, he's going to understand that more and more. And if he continues to do that, he's going to be a very, very good player, So I'm excited for what he can do. I think all of our team and staff are, so I think, yeah, we were able to see that day one. And he's been dinged up a little bit. He's had a couple injuries that just popped up. So assuming he can avoid that and be healthy, I mean, everything's right in front of him.
Great. Thank you.
Looks like we may have 1 minute for a quick question from Brian Davis. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Hey, Professor B, how are you?
Doing good. Just a couple points. What's going to be like playing back at your old stomping grounds, where I believe was it 27 years ago? You ended up playing against your alma mater, Miami, for a road trip down in the southeast. Playing them, you were one made the final out or recorded the final strikeout or save to win that championship against Florida State. Going to be making a trip down there for the playing Miami in the regular season. And your thoughts on both Mark Marquez and Bob Milano, two Bay Area legends who left us but have not been forgotten.
Yeah, no, excited to go back there. I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, great memories to win a College World Series and have unbelievable teammates that I still stay in touch with, and there's still people involved in the program and that were there when I was there. So definitely that will be fun to see some of those people and be in that environment again for sure. And then yeah, I mean, I spoke on Coach Marquis and Coach Milano. So just yeah, I don't think I have much more to add to that one.
Well, you took over that program when when Esker left to go back to Stanford. You ended up taking his spot after Marquez retired. So kind of like the moving pieces.
Yep, you said it. That's it.
All right. Thank you to head coach Mike Neu and Jacob French, and good luck to the Golden Bears as they open the 2026 season with a 4-game series against Santa Clara.